Hey, it's Kevin coming to you from the Phinsder YouTube channel and SB Nation YouTube once again. The Miami Dolphins are a quarter of the way through their 2012 season, and while we as fans may not be seeing the results we want, the team has actually looked pretty good, and there is reason to be hopeful for the future of the franchise. With 25% of the season complete, why don't we take a look back at some of the key players so far this year, as well as some of the upcoming games for the Dolphins. First up, let's look at Miami's offensive MVP. Is there any question here? Running back Reggie Bush has come out on fire this year, rushing 67 times for 369 yards and 2 touchdowns in just 3.5 games after having to sit out the entire second half of the New York Jets game with a knee injury. He is averaging 5.5 yards per carry this season and is currently 6th in the NFL in rushing yardage. Bush is easily the offensive MVP. Looking at the defensive MVP now, it's just as easy to pick. Defensive end Cameron Wake is dominating this season, being listed as the top pure pass rusher by Pro Football Focus. He did not record a sack in his first 3 games this year. However, his 4.5 sack performance against the Arizona Cardinals last week puts him as 6th in the league in total sacks on the season. He's routinely hurrying and hitting quarterbacks even when he's not getting a sack, and he is simply a force on the defensive line for the Dolphins. Our third category is just as easy as the first two. The Dolphins' most valuable rookie this year is clearly quarterback Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill's just one of 3 quarterbacks to throw for 1,000 yards in their first 4 games in the league, and he set a Miami Dolphins single-game passing yardage record for rookies last week against Arizona. He's demonstrating every week that the development that everybody said he would need when he was drafted may be a little bit overrated. I also want to give an honorable mention at this time to rookie fullback Jaworski Lane, who has simply been a force and, without Tannehill, probably could be the Rookie of the Year candidate for the Dolphins. Across the team, there really are a lot of players that could fit our fourth category, unsung hero. But I decided to go with a player that we as Dolphins fans know a lot about, but across the league, there doesn't seem to be a lot of recognition. Punter Brandon Fields. Fields is truly a weapon for Miami, changing field position every time he kicks the ball. He's currently 4th in the league, averaging 50.4 yards per punt, which is 4 yards more than the team record, a record Fields already holds from 2009 and shares with John Kidd. Starting to turn our attention to the rest of the season for the Dolphins, I see 2 players who need to step up for Miami, one on each side of the ball. The first is receiver Jabbar Gaffney. Newly signed, the Dolphins desperately need him to come in and be ready to go. Brian Hartline and Devon Bess have both been solid for the Dolphins, but there's a need for more on the receiving corps, and hopefully Gaffney will be that guy. On the defense, Richard Marshall is the guy who needs to step up. The cornerback has been beaten at times this year and has to get better. Sean Smith seems to have taken the next step, but Marshall needs to give him some support on the other side. If Marshall's able to step up, the Dolphins could have a solid secondary. The Dolphins have 4 games over the next 5 weeks, starting this weekend in Cincinnati. The Bengals are playing good football right now, and it could be a tough matchup for the Dolphins. After that, they head home to face the St. Louis Rams in Miami before having their bye week. Coming out of the bye, they take on the New York Jets in New York, followed by the Indianapolis Colts in Indy. The Dolphins, on paper, could come away with 3 wins over the next 4 games, meaning that the team could be looking at getting to 500 after this stretch. Hopefully the strong individual performance we have seen from the Dolphins players to start the year start to come together to form winning football. Make sure you subscribe to the Phinsder and SB Nation YouTube channels. This is Kevin coming to you from the Phinsder. Thanks for watching.